The isolated farm was plunged into darkness as rain fell incessantly from the night sky. It was a place where time seemed to have stopped, and an ominous aura hung in the air. The broken windows and doors creaking at the slightest touch testified to the abandonment of the farm's main house. The former residents had fled, leaving behind an atmosphere of restlessness and mystery. When we arrived, we felt a chill run down our spines as we stared at the decaying building. Whispers of inexplicable events echoed in the city's rumors, but curiosity led us there. Ignoring the warnings, we decided to explore the farm, not knowing that we would enter an unfathomable nightmare where the supernatural and terror eagerly awaited our arrival. It was the beginning of a journey into the unknown, where dark secrets would surface and fear would become our constant companion. Entering the main farmhouse was like crossing a portal into a forgotten world. The floorboards creaked beneath our feet, echoing our presence in this abandoned place. Dust hung in the air, testimony to the abandonment that had taken over the place. Exploring the rooms, we find furniture covered in dusty sheets and faded photographs from a bygone era. The previous residents had left behind a feeling that something terrible had happened there. As we climbed the stairs that led to the second floor, a cold wind seemed to welcome us, as if the house had taken on a life of its own. Reports of sightings of dancing shadows and whispers haunted us as we continued. It was in the dusty attic that we found an old diary, yellowed with age. Its pages held secrets and inexplicable events, but the most disturbing warning was in its last entry: the farm never forgets, and its secrets never rest. It was an ominous foreshadowing of what was to come. The diary we found in the attic revealed a dark story that had haunted the farm for generations. The reports narrated strange and inexplicable events, from sightings of grotesque creatures on full moon nights to strange rituals carried out by former residents. The diary's author, a woman named Eliza, described terrifying encounters with shadows that moved across the walls and whispers that filled the air. As she read her words, we felt the weight of a curse that hung over the farm. Eliza believed that the farm was connected to supernatural forces that should never be awakened. Her last records were of pure despair, warning whoever read it to never spend a night in that place. Despite the warnings in the diary, we decided to stay at the farm, fueled by curiosity and the feeling that we needed to unravel the mystery surrounding the place. Little did we know that we were about to enter a nightmare from which there would be no return. The decision to spend the night at the farm proved to be a mistake we would never forget. As night fell, the rain persisted, creating an even darker atmosphere around us. The main house seemed to take on a life of its own, as if it was getting ready to swallow us. Outside, lightning lit up the landscape, revealing gnarled trees and desolate fields. There was no sign of human life for miles, and we felt completely isolated. As we explored the house, we began to hear strange sounds: shuffling footsteps, incoherent whispers, and a chilling cold that cut to the bone. Elijah's diary echoed in our minds, but it was too late to turn back. Each room we investigated seemed to carry an ominous presence, as if the walls had eyes watching us. The farm was waking up, and we were not alone on that stormy night. As the night progressed, the house revealed its true macabre nature. The old floorboards creaked under our steps, as if the house itself was responding to our presence. The light from the candles we had brought flickered, casting dancing shadows on the walls. They looked like sinister figures moving in the shadows, as if they were watching us. Fear clung to us like an anchor, and our courage wavered. In a moment of tense silence, a piercing scream broke the stillness. We ran towards the sound and came across deep marks in the walls, as if invisible claws had torn them open. Terror gripped us. Whatever inhabited the farm was speaking out in force. Our hearts beat frantically as we tried to understand what was happening, but each new mystery only added to our feelings of helplessness. We were trapped in an unfathomable nightmare, and the true nature of the farm was dangerously revealing itself. Fear began to take hold of us as we explored the dark hallways of the house. The candles we carried flickered, casting sinister shadows on the walls. It felt like the walls themselves were whispering dark secrets. A shrill scream erupted from the darkness, making our hearts race. We ran toward the sound and found deep marks in the walls, as if invisible claws had torn them open. The fear grew as we realized that we were not alone in that mysterious house. Dancing shadows in the hallways seemed to haunt us, and the murmurs and whispers intensified. We decided to group up and continue exploring, still determined to uncover the secret behind the cursed farm. Whatever inhabited this place was becoming increasingly hostile, and our desire to escape was matched only by our desire to discover the truth behind the supernatural events surrounding us. We continued to explore the house, each room revealing new horrors. Sinister shadows seemed to writhe on the walls, as if they were alive. The whispers and murmurs became almost deafening, filling the air with an oppressive atmosphere. Our search for answers took us to a damp and dingy basement, where we found old shelves filled with mysterious objects. Among them, a collection of black candles with strange symbols inscribed on them caught our attention. As we were examining the candles, the cellar door closed violently, locking us inside. Desperation took over us, and our screams echoed through the empty basement. It was then that we heard shuffling footsteps approaching in the darkness. Something was coming towards us, something that didn't belong in this world. Terror paralyzed us as we waited for what was to come. In the dark, locked basement, fear intensified as the shuffling footsteps approached. The black candles we held trembled in our hands, and the symbols inscribed on them seemed to pulse with an evil energy. The darkness was oppressive, and our hearts beat frantically as we awaited the arrival of the unknown entity. The basement felt like a trap, and time seemed to have lost all meaning. Then, a shadowy, shapeless figure emerged from the shadows. It was like a creature from nightmares, with empty eyes that seemed to pierce through our soul. His hands reached out towards us, and cold air enveloped us. With a desperate effort, we lit the black candles, hoping the light would drive them away. The creature let out an agonized scream and retreated into the shadows, allowing us to open the cellar door and escape. We knew that we had not defeated the entity, only temporarily removed it. Terror continued to pursue us as we looked for a way out of that cursed house. Escaping the dark basement was just the beginning of our fight for survival. As we climbed the stairs, the feeling that something was chasing us persisted. The black candles we brought seemed to be our only defense against the evil forces that inhabited the farm. We returned to the dark hallways of the house, but now they seemed different, as if they were twisting and changing before our eyes. The murmurs and whispers had turned into sinister laughter that echoed off the walls. Our only hope was to find a way to unlock the secret behind the curse plaguing the farm. We followed the clues left in Eliza's diary, which now seemed like our only light at the end of the tunnel. Each step brought us closer to the truth, but also took us further from safety. The farm was determined to keep us trapped in its nightmare, and the horror was far from over. As we followed the clues in Eliza's diary, the shadows continued to writhe, and the evil laughter echoed through the hallways. The house seemed alive, as if it were watching us, waiting for the right moment to attack. We found a locked door, which seemed to be the next destination indicated by the diary. With difficulty, we managed to open it, revealing a secret room. Its interior was filled with ominous symbols drawn on the floor and black candles burning in a circle. In the center of the room was an old leather-bound book, covered in dust. The words written on its pages seemed to pulse with a dark energy. It was the last chapter of Eliza's diary, and she mentioned a ritual to break the curse. We decided to perform the ritual, hoping it would be our only chance to survive. As the black candles went out one by one, we began to recite the ancient words from the book, not knowing what dark consequences the ritual would unleash. As we recited the ancient and dark words of the ritual, the secret room filled with an oppressive atmosphere. The air became denser, and the black candles began to emit black smoke that spread throughout the room. In the center of the circle of candles, something slowly began to materialize. A spectral figure appeared from the shadows, and its empty eyes fixed on us. It was an ancient and evil presence, the source of the curse that was plaguing the farm. The entity began to writhe and emit distressing moans. It seemed the ritual was having some effect on her. Our hope grew, but the entity was not willing to give up easily. With a deafening scream, the entity launched itself towards us, causing the black candles to go out all at once. Darkness swallowed us, and our vision was filled with complete denial. We were face to face with absolute terror. In complete darkness, we fought to protect ourselves from the attack of the supernatural entity we had summoned. Our hands shook as we desperately searched for the black candles and book we had used in the ritual. The entity moved like a living shadow, hurling itself at us again and again. Their moans and laughs echoed in our minds, as if they were penetrating our soul. Finally, we found one of the black candles and lit it. The dim light revealed the ghostly figure, which retreated momentarily, as if the light was hurting it. With determination, we light the other candles, making the secret room fill with light. The entity writhed and emitted agonizing screams as the dark energy that held it dissipated. The ritual had worked, but at a terrible cost. The farm was finally free of the curse, but our sanity was shaken. The terror we experienced there would leave deep scars, and the farm still held dark secrets that would never be revealed. With the supernatural entity dispelled, the secret room was now free of its evil presence. The light from the black candles had revealed its last secret. The ancient book was blank, without words or symbols, as if the curse had been sealed forever. With our hearts still racing from the terror we experienced, we decided it was time to leave the farm behind. We walked through the haunted hallways, now eerily silent, as if the house itself mourned the departure of the entity that had tormented it for so long. As we left the farm, we were greeted by the light of the rising sun, as if the darkness that had hung over the place had finally been dispelled. We swore never to return to that cursed farm, but we knew that the memories of the horrors we experienced there would haunt us forever. Our adventure had come to an end, but the isolated farm and its macabre secrets would remain in the dark, waiting for other unwary people who dared to unravel its mysteries. After leaving the cursed farm behind, our lives would never be the same. Memories of the horrors we witnessed continued to haunt us, even as we tried to move on. However, something had changed within us. The experience on the farm made us more united, and our determination to face the unknown became stronger. We decided that we would use what we learned to help others facing the supernatural. We became paranormal investigators, dedicated to unraveling unexplained mysteries and protecting those in danger. The cursed farm has become a dark memory, but also a constant reminder that evil exists, and it is up to us to face it. Our journeys took us to dark places and terrifying encounters, but we were determined to face any challenge the paranormal world threw at us. The story of the farm was just the beginning of our supernatural adventures, and the unknown would continue to call us. Our paranormal investigations took us to dark, unexplored places, but one experience in particular stood out. We received a desperate call from a small town where a series of strange events were haunting the residents. When we arrived, we were horrified to discover that the entire city was engulfed in an ancient curse. Sinister shadows moved through the streets at night, and inhabitants were tormented by terrible nightmares. Investigating the city's history, we discovered that it was built on an ancient Indian cemetery, and the restless spirits were crying out for justice. We determined that we needed to perform a ritual to calm these spirits and free the city from their curse. The ritual was dangerous and challenging, but with determination, we managed to complete it. As the shadows faded and the nightmares stopped, we felt like we had made a difference. Our journey as paranormal investigators was far from over, but the experience in that city taught us that, with courage and compassion, we could face even the darkest horrors the paranormal world had to offer. With our hearts full of paranormal experiences and a desire to help others, our journey as paranormal investigators has continued to evolve. We have become known across the country for our unique approach and our willingness to face the unknown. One of the most challenging investigations took us to an old, isolated mansion deep in a haunted forest. Rumors of ghostly apparitions and unexplained sounds terrified local residents. As we explored the mansion, we faced a vengeful entity that was trapped between the world of the living and the dead. With empathy and compassion, we helped this tormented soul find peace, freeing it from its spectral prison. Over time, our reputation grew, and we were approached by people from all over the world looking for help dealing with paranormal phenomena. Although our journey was fraught with danger and mystery, we knew we were fulfilling our purpose by confronting the supernatural forces that haunted the world, bringing relief and resolution to those who sought us.